Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is a complete guide with everything you need to know for the Wailing Caverns Pet Battle Dungeon. This is a 6-stage single-player pet battle scenario that rewards caverns-themed pets and lots of supplies. For your first run, you can heal your pets as needed with bandages and your normal heal. Completing that first run gets you an ultimate battle training stone to instantly catch up a pet to level 25. After that, you can do it again without healing your pets for the Pet Battle Challenge Wailing Caverns achievement, the Son of Scum pet, and a bag of damp pet supplies. 3 different pets can drop from that bag, and you can repeat the challenge once a week to try and collect all of the pets. To get started, drop by the Dalaran Pet Shop to pick up the Breadcrumb quest. They'll send you out to the Skull Rock over the Wailing Caverns entrance in the Barrens. If you've run into the Drippy Puddle Cave, you've gone too far. Talk to Miani in the Skull Rock to pick up the quest and start the dungeon. This guide is going to cover everything you need for the weekly Permadeath Challenge run. For your first run, you can definitely get by with less due to healing. This is Celestial Tournament style, but far from Celestial Tournament difficulty. None of these fights are especially hard, there's just a lot of them. Every encounter, bosses included, have 2 white quality backline pets out of a pool of 3 options. You'll want a good amount of level 25 pets to choose through these fights, but which ones you bring in particular isn't really that important. The last thing to note here is that the Wailing Cavern stages are divided into trash fights and boss fights. If you start a trash fight and then forfeit to change out your pets, you'll suffer a 10% health loss to your team. For the boss fights, you can check the lineup without penalty. Because the backline pets are a bit random but not all that threatening, you can type counter the backline for the boss fights if you want. But I'd just power through the trash fights even if you don't perfectly counter the backline. You are most likely not going to wipe. The gist of all this is that you don't need any specific pets to succeed at this dungeon, and you're most likely fine running it with whatever. Having said that, let's take a look at my recommended pets to bring. These will make your Wailing Caverns run go really smoothly and guarantee easy success. First on the list, the Draenei Micro Defender. I love this guy for the first boss. I set him up with Metal Fist, Reflective Shield, and Ion Cannon. If you don't have him ready to go, any Ion Cannon pet is good, or just sub him out for any 2 mech pets. Next on the list, Decoy Pets. Ideally bring 3 of these, not including the Mechanical Pandaren Dragonling. Just open up your pet journal and search Decoy to see which ones you have. If you're low on those, 1 Decoy pet can be subbed for any 2 random mech pets. Next, more mechs. Seriously, mechanical pets are awesome in this dungeon. You want 2 decent ones to use on the second boss. I brought a Menagerie Custodian and a Black Fuse Bombling, but as long as they're rare level 25 mechs, whatever will be fine. If you're not sure what to take, you can't go wrong with a Call Lightning pet such as the Mechanical Yeti, comboed with a Clockwork Gnome that has Build Turret. Next up, Dragon Damage. You want 2 of them. The Mechanical Pandaren Dragonling is an easy pick, so grab that with Breath, Bombing Run, and Decoy, and then you want 1 more good dragon pet. For my second one, I used my Emerald Protowhelp with Breath, Ancient Blessing, and Proto Strike, but there's plenty of options. Next, you want 1 or 2 pets with good water damage for the last boss. Toothy is my shining star here with Rip, Water Jet, and Blood in the Water. You could also do that with a Spiny Crab pet with that Rip, Blood in the Water, a Water Strider with Cleansing Rain and Pump, a Jade Mist Dancer, or whatever your favorite water damage pet happens to be. 1 should do it, but 2 couldn't hurt. Finally, you want to bring a whole crew of preferably at least 10 cleanup pets. These are for polishing off bosses and chomping through backline pets. The more you bring, the better. The backline pets that you fight are always going to be either a Crocolisk, Venom Fang, or Raptor Baby, so stock up on extra mech damage, flying damage, and magic damage. Nexus and Stormborn Whelplings get great mileage here, as do Zandalari Ankle Renders and Knee Biters. All-purpose pets like the Anubisath Idol and Chi-Chi would also come in handy. I like the Enchanted Pen with Quills, Counterspell, and Foreboding Curse for efficient flying damage, but you can also bring ravens, parrots, or whatever birds you have leveled up. Extra magic pets don't hurt, and you can never have too many mechs. If you're trying to round out your crew and you're choosing which pets to level, you can't go wrong with the Alarmabot or the Zeppelins. All in all, if you have about 10 cleanup pets that cover mech, flying, and magic damage, you'll be fine. If you're low on total number of pets and you're trying to squeak through with a bit less, a Pygmy Cow can be used with Chew, Mother's Milk, and Where's the Beef to help top up damaged pets for more mileage. There's no limit to the amount of pets you can bring, you just can't heal them. More is always better. In a pinch, don't forget that you can use level 22 to 24-ish wild pets that you've caught too. You can check out the description of this video for a list of pet recommendations before you go. Alright, so we've amassed our army, gotten to the Wailing Caverns, and we're on stage 1, which is 3 fully white quality trash fights. These are easy, so you can use anything here. Save your good mechs and backup for later. There's 1 raptor, 1 croc, and 1 venom fang, so put mech, flying, and magic damage in your top slot for each one respectively. If your pet comes out of a fight with more than 70% health, don't be afraid to reuse them. We're shooting for efficiency. Okay, so for stage 2 versus Scum, I'm going to start out with my Draenei Micro Defender in my top slot. I'm going to use Metal Fist followed by Reflective Shield. So you could do this with a lot of different things, and the reason we're not using an Iron Starlet is that he can't be dealt more than a third of his health in one hit. And then the Reflective Shield's going to go up, and that's going to make him hurt himself quite a bit. So that's one thing, is that they can't be dealt more than a third of their health in one hit, so your one-shot Iron Starlet strategy's out. And the other thing is that they do take half damage, so when I'm looking at my Ion Cannon damage there, I see it's going to do like 1100. I want to make sure I don't hit that until Scum has less than 600-ish health. So there we go, he's finally down to just below 600 just from mashing Metal Fist after that Reflective Shield. And now I'm going to go ahead and use Ion Cannon to finish him off. So I'm going to be recharging for 2 turns, which basically means this trash pet's going to finish me off. But that's totally fine, I have backline now to deal with his backline, and they're just 2 white little flappy dudes, we aren't scared of them. So down goes my Rein, and we're going to bring out the Stormborn Whelpling. Or whatever backline you have, you can deal with the backline however you want at this point. This is really overkill, but this is just really fun to do, especially when he happens to have 2 flyers behind him. You go ahead and throw down the Arcane Storm, and then you go ahead and throw down the Mana Surge. So the only reason I'm busting at the Stormborn Whelpling this early is because I also have a Nexus Whelpling. You want to keep at least 1 of these, if not 2 of them, for a later stage. But I just have a bunch of them, so I'm just using 1 now. Otherwise, just use kind of whatever backline pets you want. Because Scum is a boss, you can check and then counter comb his backline, but there we go, pretty easy. In stage 3, you fight 3 uncommon quality snake pets with backup. This is where our decoy pets come in. For each one, use a decoy mech in your top slot with 2 cleanup pets, or 2 mechs and 1 strong cleanup pet. Against Fixia, I like to start with bombing run and then decoy, and then mashing the mech damage. Versus the other 2 snakes, I like to use decoy first. These aren't too scary, and a couple of your favorite mech pets should chomp right through this stage. Okay, so for stage 4, we're going to be fighting Hiss, and I'm going to start with my Menagerie Custodian. If you're doing the lightning thing, just start with your lightning pet, call lightning, switch to the Clockwork Gnome, start building turrets. In any case, I'm going to start with Shock and Awe here, start filling with Zap, and then wait until I either get him into Ion Cannon death range, or until I feel like my Custodian's about to die, and then I'll just pull the trigger on the Ion Cannon. Again, they can't be dealt more than 35% of their health in one hit, and they do take half damage. So make sure that you take that half damage into account when you're doing your Ion Cannon math, so we're trying to get him under like 500 here, or at least very close. I'm going to go ahead and zap 1 more time, and because I get to come back on my mech racial, I should be able to get the Ion Cannon off and more than finish him off. So there we go, he kills me, but I get to come back, and 1 good Ion Cannon should do it. I'm going to be kind of slow, so there's a very good chance the backup pet cleans me up, but that's okay. I had a Black Hugh's Bombling ready to go for that, but I really didn't need it. Hiss isn't a very hard boss. There we go, so I'm just going to clean through the backline with whatever we have. Down goes Menagerie Custodian, but that's okay. And I happen to use a Nexus Whelpling here. Again, any backline you have. If you do use an Anubis Idol for any of these, Stone Skin is really good because the flappers do a lot of like incidental damage. So Stone Skin and then just spamming Crush will get you pretty far. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and Arcane Storm Mana Surge because it's like my favorite thing to do. There we go. And I've got a whole 3rd pet to deal with. The more pets you can preserve, the better, because you might need them later. But at this point, we're starting to get through the dungeon. We're not too far from the end. Oh, there we go. For stage 5, we fight 2 identical rare quality ectoplasms with backup. These are magic types, and this is what we brought the dragons for. Mech Panda Dragon like mows through this, so use decoy and then mash breath, and then use bombing run on the backline when you get there. If you have 2 Mech Panda Dragonlings, then you're just a lucky cupcake. I only collect singles myself, so on the second one, I used the Emerald Proto Whelp. We used Proto Strike, then Ancient Blessing, then spammed Breath and used our buttons on cooldown. If your dragon pet doesn't quite make it, your cleanup pets should finish things off. If you brought a Nexus or Stormborn Whelpling, this is a good fight to use those on for cleanup because Tail Sweep will shred the rest of the ectoplasm. Then, Arcane Storm Mana Surge absolutely wrecks any backline. Okay, so it's time for the last boss, the Ever-Living Spore. I just scoped him out and saw that he had 2 raptors behind him, so I'm just kind of checking to see what mechs I have left that I would like to put in the backline. Of course, you don't have to counter comb the backline, you can use pretty much whatever, they're just like white quality raptors, but it doesn't hurt. We'll throw in like a Nest Guardian, and yeah, plating seems fine, and How about, what do we got? Yeah, let's throw in a Clockwork Rocket Bot. Why not? So we're gonna go ahead and fight the boss with Toothy or your water damage pet in your top slot. He is legendary quality, but don't be fooled, he's not all that tricky. With Toothy, what you want to do is you want to rip, and then you want to blood in the water, then you want to spam surge. It's really complicated, I know. So he's going to be using Dreadful Breath throughout this fight, which is the one reason why you don't want to use Dragonkin pets in your backline. This is the one situation where you do not want the Nexus Whelpling hanging it in the wings because he will get shredded by that Dreadful Breath. But in any case, we're just going to keep spamming Water Jet. That first blood in the water hits pretty hard, and we're just chunking him down for like 300 per. And because he's cleaving, he's not actually hitting our primary pet very hard, so he's going to get pretty much shredded by this. It does mean that our backline pets are going to be working on half health, but honestly, that's completely fine. We're dealing with Deviant Small Claws here. They're not exactly about to end the world, so I'm just going to use the rest of Toothy. We'll throw up the Rip Dot. It does look like we're infected for a while, but I mean, that's fine. Who isn't? Anyways, my Toothy finally died, and I got one more pet left, so I'm just going to bring out the Clockwork Rocket Bot, let him have his day in the sunshine. There's no reason for you to like level one of these. I just happen to have a bunch of stuff leveled. I'll throw up the Toxic Smoke Dot and just spam Missile. I could have launched a rocket, but I feel like it's not going to be necessary, so there we go. We're pretty much done. And that's how I do it. Do not hearth out. You want to leave Instance Group to teleport back to Miani and turn in your quest. Your first challenge run gets you the Son of Scum, and there's 3 cageable pets that can drop from the damp supplies. Come back every week until you get them all, or if you're the entrepreneuring type, you can sell the extras. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments or with the like button, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!